This night ends with 2 dead and 1 injured. In the melee is 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse. The Illinois resident crossed state lines on August 25th, telling local media he was there to protect property. By daybreak, he was a wanted person. Video captured with a cell phone appears to show Rittenhouse running through the street as others race toward him. Some accuse him of being a shooter. Then there are shots.
We're getting shot all around us. People are just getting shot everywhere, guys.
Video from a different angle of the confrontation shows the gunman firing multiple rounds as a crowd surrounds him. The gunman moves away, walking with his hands raised in what seems to be a surrender as police roll by. Rittenhouse makes his way home to Illinois that night while police try to make sense of what happened.
The radio traffic was non-stop, and there were people running all over the place.
Shot to death is 26-year-old Joseph Rosenbaum in a parking lot. Moments later, in a second clash that was caught on camera, Anthony Huber is killed and Gage Grosskreutz is injured. Rittenhouse is charged with several felonies, including 2 counts of intentional homicide, attempted homicide, and possessing a deadly weapon while under 18. The gun charge in particular has been the source of heated exchanges between prosecutors and the defense.
As to 29593, that has to do with hunter certification. If an individual is out hunting, and that's what Mr. Binger was hanging his hat on. There is no allegation anywhere that my client was hunting on August 25th.
There's no dispute in this case that Kyle Rittenhouse armed himself with an AR-15 on August 25th, 2020, at the age of 17 years old. That's it. It's that simple. Now, if the defense wants to hide behind hunter safety regulations to try and excuse that behavior, then I'll simply quote back what Attorney Richards just said, which is, the defendant wasn't hunting.
At his bond hearing, Rittenhouse's lawyer argues that the teen acted in self-defense.
States would bury their head in sand, and in reality, who struck my client first? Who attacked my client first? We're not talking about demonstrators, we're talking about rioters who had ill intent in their heart.
Also at the hearing is Anthony Huber's father.
Kyle Rittenhouse thinks he's above the law.
He wants the judge to keep Rittenhouse behind bars while he awaits trial.
He was an active shooter, and he tried to flee, and my son lost his life protecting other people. He was a hero.
The case against Rittenhouse has attracted high-profile supporters, including Silver Spoon's actor Ricky Schroeder. He helps post the hefty $2 million bond that allows Rittenhouse to be free while he awaits trial. Disappointing news to a grieving father.
There's people out there raising money right now, making it their own fight, that it's about gun rights, and it's not about gun rights. My son was killed. Another man was killed. They didn't deserve to be killed.
Still with me, our guest analysts this hour, Brian Dunn and Eric Faddis. Okay, want to speak to you both about the difficulties that both sides are facing, respectively, in this case. Eric, I want to begin with you. You've also served as a prosecuting attorney. Talk to me about what you see as the biggest challenges for the state and for the defense on this one.
Oh, sure. I mean, talk about a divisive case, Rachel. I mean, it's sort of symbolic of a greater divide that we're seeing within our country. And so for the prosecution, one thing that is going to play to their benefit, I believe, is that this incident is on video. Or at least one of the shootings is captured pretty clearly on video. And so they don't have to rely on, foggy witness memories and imperfect recollections and that kind of thing. They've got the video. And so they can show that to the jury, and I expect they're going to show it over and over and over again. However, one hurdle for the prosecution, I think, is that there is a colorable self-defense claim. I'm not saying it's a successful self-defense claim, but it could be. And I'll be interested to see how Kyle Rittenhouse's defense attorneys play this, because it's such an emotionally charged incident with political implications, police reform implications, everything else. And so it will be really a high-profile trial in the months to come.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. We know this one was scheduled to go in March, and that would have been really a record speed. So it's not surprising to me that it's pushed out until November. These parties are going to have a lot of work to do between now and then. Brian, share with us your thoughts on the difficulties that both sides are going to encounter in terms of preparation and then case presentation come November, please.
Well, I have to say, I think that Eric just nailed it. He got all the issues pretty succinctly organized. But we have to look at the broader implications. Obviously, this is not just about a man with a gun shooting another man. How is it that a 17-year-old would somehow think that it is the thing to do to drive a substantial amount of time across state lines, arm himself with a high-powered rifle, and deliberately insert himself into an extremely toxic situation? There's social discord, there's racial undertones. He ostensibly is there for the purpose of protecting a business. So you have a person armed with a gun for the purpose of keeping property damage from happening. He gave himself the moral authority to be out there, and predictably, it had disastrous consequences. So when we start really looking at what happened in this case, why he was there in the first place is really one of the things that we're going to have to wrap our arms around. There is a video. He's not going to be able to get away scot-free, but when you see him crying in the interrogation room, and you see him sobbing, and his mother is holding his back, he now is understanding the impact of what he did. And the idea that, yes, he's probably a person with far-right leanings, and he's doing this thing he believes he's supposed to, now he's in there all by himself. None of the supporters, none of the people that he was interacting with on the internet are with him. None of the politicians are with him. He's in there by himself, facing the reality. And that's what really makes this sad for the whole country.
So well said, Brian. You both made excellent points on this one. There's that video, that interrogation. And you're right, what an isolating process then thereafter. You could tell he was going through some trauma there, the way he was crying and hyperventilating and clinging to his mother, and she's hysterical. This is a tragic case all the way around. I've enjoyed talking to you gentlemen so much, and I hope you will both come back on the program. Brian Dunn, Eric Faddis, always great to get your insight and legal expertise. Thank you kindly for joining us today here on Court TV Live.
Thank you so much, Julie. It's an honor.
And what we're going to do now is we're going to